Chinese cartel has been mining illegally between Kwara and Oyo State for some years. Its operation was recently popularized by the arrest of some members of this cartel by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. In July 2023, the agency arrested 13 Chinese suspected miners alone between January and April 2024. Several people connected to these cartel were also arrested by the EFCC with tons of solid mineral resources, including lithium. Nevertheless, these miners are still actively in trade, and where they are getting these resources remains largely unknown. In this investigation, in my quest to uncover the truth, I went undercover to investigate and track the actual source these miners derive the minerals from and how they operate. At about 9:30 a.m. on April 6, I met with Latif Akoni, not real name, an Okada rider whom I had met a day before in Ibeti, in the Olorusubu local government area of Oyo State, while trying to navigate my way into the world of Chinese illegal miners in the town. Before I met Akoni, 3 Okada riders had turned down my overtures as a potential transporter of mineral resources, keeping my true identity hidden in my quest to expose how this Chinese cartel operates. We started our journey from Daba Junction, close to Central Hotel in the community, to a place called Daba. Passing through Maple and Barney garages, we rode on a rooty Isoku-Iseyin road that streaks from Ibeti to Barney until we caught up onto a pathway at Ile-Iseidu Junction, Daba, a dangerous spot deep within the Old Oyo National Park. OONP is a bubbling center where the Chinese miners derive lithium ore, a kind of solid mineral now in high global demand owing to energy transition. Lithium is used to produce lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. It exists in colors such as white, purple, and emerald green, among others. As we crept through the deserted pathway, the sight of mango trees, farmlands, and dry leaves provided an adventurous feeling in me that helped to cope with the fatigue I experienced on this miles-long journey. Miles into the journey, tens of Okada riders transporting lithium ore packed into overstretched 50 kg sacks waved at us as we wished them safe trips. We had already left the site of civilization behind us when I started engaging my rider, who used to be part of this transportation business before his motorcycle suffered wear and tear, to gain insights into how the miners operate.
Àwọn gọ́ọ̀mọ̀ fún àwọn dílà lówó láti máa fi ṣiṣẹ́. Ọgbọ́n bá yé sọ pé kò tí pẹ́ náà bí kọ́mọ̀ ti tọdún márùn-ún kọ́. Ẹ ti tọdún mélòó lẹ̀? Ẹ̀yìn.
Daba is accessible through 2 slightly tiny pathways. The shortest one, according to my rider, is at Ile-Iseidu Junction, and the second is on Ogun-Niron Road. My rider disclosed that he was not really familiar with the route we took. Luckily, we found a man whom I would later discover to be one of the people manning the toll gate-like checkpoint mounted on the way. This man is also from Ibeti. The Okada rider carrying him to Daba overtook us on the way, but we caught up with them at a stream before going deep into the park. We asked him if we were on the right path. As the journey goes deeper into the park, the sight of towering trees appears, and we stumble on local hunters and ticketers, mostly young ones, whom I think could be between 25 and 40 years of age, at not less than 4 toll gates. I initially thought that this was the minefield that we were headed to. Asking my rider, he explained what it is to me.
Àwọn dílà náà máa rí ní àbàgbò ní ìbàgbò rẹ̀ àwọn dílà làwọn agbófinró máa rí.
Gbogbo owó túká ilẹ̀ ló pé dílà. Gbogbo owó túká yẹn wọ́n họ. Lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ ìlú àgbà pé iṣẹ́ òfin pẹ̀lú pé àjíjẹ.
Ó kì bí àgbẹ̀ tí ó ń jí ṣe rè.
Ẹ mọ̀ pé ó họ́ ni ilẹ̀ local government ní ìpè ní pẹ́lẹ̀ nìkan.
Okay.
Ìmọ̀ tí wọ́n dájú ní ìjọba fáwọn aṣọ́gbó mọ́ lọ bí inú owó gbà kan. Ara àwọn aṣọ́gbó.
At each point, a loaded motorcycle pays between 500 naira and 1,000 naira. Normally, a rider spends between 2,500 naira and 2,000 naira, settling the local hunters protecting the routes for smooth activities. The most important toll gate was situated at Barri Village, a settlement occupied by a man identified as Daba and his clan. The next 3 toll gates had a smaller number of protectors than Barri's, if not more than that. At least 200 trips happen on these pathways daily. At the rate of 2,500 naira per trip, these gun-wielding local hunters and toll collectors working as protectors could be earning 500,000 naira per day. This amount presents a lucrative opportunity that is unavailable to an average hunter in Yeti.
Sáwọn ọlọ́pàá sọ gbóòlù. À ń jáwé fún ẹni tó bá gbẹ́rù. Èlò ni wọ́n gbọ́ ní ẹgbàá bẹ́ẹ̀. 500. So àjọ̀nà ìhọ́ báyìí. Àwọn ọdẹ ẹnu bí. Ìrìn àwọn gbà jọ. Okay. Patrick àbí lórí báàgì. Ṣé lórí báàgì àbí Patrick? Okay.
A criminal economy has been built around mining in this community. The business is a chain, and the Okada riders are nearly a group of stakeholders in the chain. As part of the unwritten rules, lithium-carrying motorcyclists have a right-of-way when transporting this powdered mineral. This right-of-way gives a rider who is delicately navigating the sandy pathway and its many bends an undisturbed peace throughout the journey. However, this does not guarantee an absolute no-incidents journey. I saw some instances of fully loaded motorcycles falling on the way when their loads lost their balance. A young rider even veered off the pathway with his load, thinking he needed help to lift his motorcycle. I told my rider to stop to help the troubled rider. Surprisingly, the rider resisted the suggestion and said that there was no mercy here, except you are operating as a group. The rider said, "You are on your own if you have an accident." Another incident happened when my rider collided with an oncoming motorcycle. I quickly said sorry to the sword-bearing rider heading to Daba, but both riders locked eyes with unsaid streams of words in their minds. The swordman left after seeing that there was no damage to his motorcycle.
Yóò ti tọ́dún kejì tí wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ àwọn búrẹ́dì. Mọ̀sákẹ́ oríṣiríṣi ibi náà wọ́n jà sí nínú ìgbẹ́tì.
Ọkọ̀.
Ẹ máa ra ọ.
Ẹyin ni.
Àbíká bá wọn dá sí. Lóògùn.
Mú bàbá ìlú ní òun fẹ́ wo.
Yeah, yes sir.
ọkùnrin tí mo bí wọn olóhùn bàbá rẹ̀ ó sì òun gan ní mọ́tò fúnra rẹ̀ nígbà mọ́tò rẹ̀ yí bọ́ọ̀tì òun náà yóò máa dé èso tó ń.
ó gba àwọn Chinese náà bẹ́ẹ̀ náà lu wa yẹn iṣẹ́ tó gbé wa náà nì.
bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Due to the dangers associated with the business, I rather offered to prepare some protective charts for me whenever I started the transport business. The writer gave an explanation for that. On this road and in a situation like this, saying sorry shows you are a weakling. If you started engaging in an exchange of words with him and you were not faster to descend on him first, he could bring out his sword and behead you. Nobody would know you had been killed here. A 15 minutes ride past the 4th toll gate, something that seemed like a construction site came up. Still on the motorcycle, I started seeing that miners were armed, some with guns, and some with cutlasses clutched on their shoulders. At some point, I felt scared. In my heart, I was thinking something that, anything that. Many questions were on my mind. Network signals have already disappeared from my phone. My last trackable location was somewhere in Betty Township. I continued my light conversation with my rider while we sliced through the minefields inside the park, where armed, suspected bandits held sway. The lithium ore mined from here ends at the hands of Chinese, whose collection centers litter Ibeti and Barney townships. Being a legal conservation area, federal mining laws prohibit mineral exploration inside the park. But these laws seem to mean nothing to these Chinese cartel and their local partners, who have moved deeper into the rainforest, destroying the ecosystem, while digging the soil to mine mineral resources for onward fraudulent transportation to China. Aside from the exploitation being unlawful, the impact of clearing large chunks of this biodiversity hotspot, which includes the death of flora and fauna and crude erosion of land and animal habitat as a result of tree felling and mining, might contribute to climate change crisis, even long after the gangs might have been dislodged by the authorities. The Chinese miners operate at a distance from Daba. In fact, they dread the mining area so much that they don't go there for fear of being held hostage by their armed gang partners, according to multiple local sources. Their central role in the operation is to collect the minerals mined through local dealers. These armed miners speak Hausa and Fufude, suggesting that some of them are not indigenous to Ibeti. Local agents in Ibeti and Barney towns play an important role in this system as they help secure open spaces, serving as collection centers where bags of lithium ore are first received, rebagged, and placed on weighing scales to measure their weight and monetary worth.
ọjọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn tó náà náà yìí gan wọ́n sọ ọmọlẹ̀ yìí.
ọ̀pọ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ tó kọ́ra fẹ́ dẹ́pá wúdà gan mẹ́rin wọn.
wọ́n ká lùkù wá jẹ wá bí.
bẹ́ẹ̀ ni òkú mi tí ò pé ní ayé o ní ẹ̀bá yìí.
àwọn tí wọ́n ti mọ ọ̀nà yìí tọ́ ní wọ́n bá gbẹ́rù ó sì gbé yàn.
Organized criminal economy has been established around this system. It is a local crime that many people are aware of and are also part of it. Energetic young persons are engaged to do the rebagging, while the Chinese, well protected by security agents, as seen by FIJ, show up frequently to monitor the progress of work.
Escort. Okay. Àwọn Chinese àwọn náà wọ́n sanwó fagbófinró.
ebi arówó táwọn tí wọ́n tẹ̀lé lọ́ta wọn la tẹ̀lé yípo.
Láti yípo wo.
wọ́n ti tọ́ di lead money.
Lead money.
Lead.
Okay.
náà tẹ́lẹ̀ kọ́ ọ̀sẹ̀ jáde. fáàgì ẹ̀yọ̀ kan 10,000. lẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ yàtọ̀ kù ẹ̀jẹ̀ níta kọ́bọ̀ lẹ́yìn èkó tẹ bára ẹni tó gbé bá dùn lẹ́yìn ó ti yé báyìí
ó ti o ṣé owó gbà yẹn kò tí ì sáwọn àwọn tí wọ́n jáwé lẹ́yìn lójọ́ rẹ̀.
àwọn èyí ìjájú
I saw tens of young locals working at the center behind New Links College of Health Technology off Igboho Road in April. Some distance further up, along the same road, there was a center close to a public borehole. Around the same area, there was a center off the street leading to the Orioke Bala Oniwamimo Cherubim and Seraphim Church. Opposite the road leading to Arijero Royal Castle Inn, there was another collection point. A Chinese member of this cartel, moving with a gun-bearing civil security officer, was spotted several times at the center behind the College of Health, while his black 4Runner SUV was parked under a tree at the center. A lavender-colored truck hired to collect the minerals being bagged waited several days at the center. His fellow Chinese and illegal mining financier, who was patronizing another center, was driving a black Highlander. Inside this jungle, access to daily supplies is not a challenge. There are food vendors and petty traders, compromising men and women with their children, running errands within this territory called Daba. Presenting myself as a potential transporter, my rider and I interviewed a miner to see how much I would be charging per bag of lithium from Daba to Barney. A man who looked to be in his 70s told me how much to charge per bag from Daba to Betty. Walking around the minefield gave an overview of the number of deep, shallow sinkholes that have been dug for the purpose of mineral extraction. By my estimation, there were over 300 sinkholes in Daba. Some were active, and others had been abandoned after the armed miners had extracted minerals from them. Multiple sources, including my rider, told me that over 100 miners had died and been buried inside Daba. Sometimes, a sinkhole could crumble and kill miners who are deep below it. A violent conflict could break out and someone would die. One after the other, many miners have landed in their graves inside Daba. I proceed to Barney in the Kayama local government area of Kwara State the following day to track how this mineral resource gets to the community. Kayamo is a rural community in Kwara North, Senatorial District. I had read that it is populated by majorly Yoruba, Fulani, and Hausa speakers. Because of the language barrier, I could not strike any meaningful conversation with my new rider, or he had an idea of how the mining operation takes place. Barney is located several kilometers away from Igbeti. Few kilometers down the dusty road, what appears to be the old administrative office of the park management, surrounded by nature, was spotted by the roadside. This same road serves as a transit route for mineral transporters to Barney. Unlike what happens on the pathway to the jungle, there were checkpoints and uniformed guards at various checkpoints on this road. Though they also collect tolls from the riders, I sensed that their presence was sanctioned by the authorities. After a hectic journey, we were greeted by a concrete signboard constructed by Barney Students' Union, which reads, "Welcome to Barney." It was the community's weekly market day. I engaged another commercial rider. I took time to interact with locals and spotted several open spaces where lithium ore and other minerals were put up for sale. Lithium was being traded, but secretly and openly. As I walked around, sellers of various minerals beckoned on me to patronize them, in a bid to convince me that he had enough to sell. A 40-something-year-old looking dealer opened up his store full of bags of lithium, locally called Konsa, obtained from Daba, beside the 1976 founded KLGEA Primary School, a public school. He further stated that his major clients were Chinese and Malians. He said that depending on grades, 1 kilogram was sold between 170 naira and 225 naira, but could increase after the last Ramadan fasting.